Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my brand new Frost Mage build guide for Path of Exile 2, clearing all content. It is an absolute monster minion army. As always, I will show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now what you're looking at right now is Juice T15 maps, and we are spec'd into full Frost Mage army. We have 12 of them. We're using double curse, Enfeeble as an aura to try and keep us alive. And then of course we're using hypothermia because this is a cold build. And I will show you those during the skill breakdown. We are also using Frost Bomb, and this skill is designed to do one thing, and that is cold exposure. And it works pretty good. Sometimes it's hard to time it and actually hit an enemy. I normally only use it on rares and bosses, but it is a great skill for giving exposure. Also, something new for this build is we are using double offerings. So we are using Pain Offering and Bone Offering. And it's going to give us an extra 40% minion damage through the passive tree, which again, I will show you guys later. But we are now using double offering, double curse, frost bomb, and then our Frost Mages. And we've been able to push almost all the content in the game. I'm going to show you a little bit more of gameplay. Pretty simple, run around, use your offerings when you need them, kind of your spam skills with your curse. And you ever hit a rare enemy, you use your Frost Bomb, your curse, and your double offerings. This is a pretty simple build. What I like about cold over the other builds is the CC. Enemies are frozen a lot of the times, and if they're frozen, that means they're not hitting or killing you. You will see even this rare enemy right here, absolutely annihilated. Now, when I was streaming, we had a lot of luck, or I guess we had a really good stream, and we were able to take out 2 lieutenants with this build. It might be my strongest build ever. I think it is the strongest build ever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one of those lieutenant fights now.
No! You are within my grasp! Nothing will stand in my way! You leave me no choice. This is not over yet. Let me show you what true intellect looks like. Crush you. No! You are within my grasp.
So now let's break down the skills, and if you follow all of my previous guides, you'll notice some differences as it comes to Frost. Now, first things first, we are still using our Malice Scepter. Malice is good on your Scepter, same with Skeleton Warrior. It doesn't matter, they are both equally awesome. And for the Malice Scepter right now, there's nothing really to use other than Clarity, which is going to give you 30% increased mana regen. Moving down to summon Infernal Hound, and you will see on here that we now have it fully 6-linked. And we are maiming enemies, we are culling enemies, we are igniting enemies and spreading ignite, we are blowing up enemies that are ignited, and we are giving 50% multiplicative maximum health to our Infernal Hound. Moving down to the damage dealers, and that is Skeletal Frost Mage. And on here, we are putting all of our spirit really into this. We're not taking a separate shock mage. We are not splitting it up. We want as much frost mages as possible. And at time of recording, I currently have 12. You want feeding frenzy for multiplicative damage, cast speed, more hits, more freeze, more damage, Scattershot. I did a lot of testing with Scattershot, and a lot of times the way the projectiles hit, multiple projectiles will hit the same target, so you definitely want them shooting those 2 extra projectiles, kind of a shotgun effect. And then lastly, Cold Mastery, 4+1 to support its cold skills. And if I had this extra link, I would probably put in Minion Mastery, bringing this to level 24. This skill is also currently level 19, which means if I had that link, it would go to 25, and then if we had a 20 gem, it would go to 26. And you could further extend this through gear. Now, I am using 2 offerings now. This is something different for this minion build. First one is, of course, Pain Offering, and we are using Font of Rage to enrage our skeletons. We are using Expanse for more area of effect. We are using Persistence for the skill effect to be up longer, and the Minion Mastery, since I needed an extra one, I threw it in there. Not super important, but shouldn't leave it blank. Moving down to Bone Offering. Now, Bone Offering is very interesting. This is a newcomer. Impales a skeleton on a bone spike to shield your minions while the spike remains. The shield absorbs all damage from the next hit each minion takes, then explodes, which means if you time this correctly, during a rare encounter, during a boss encounter, you can actually keep your minions alive. And it is hard to kind of get used to. You basically just spam it, but it is really, really nice quality of life. And I'll show you why having 2 offerings is great during the passive tree. Now on here, we're taking Font of Rage, Font of Mana. So you're going to be boosting your health and your mana, and then elemental resistance for your minions. So the Bone Offering is really going to give you life, mana, and resistance for your minions. It is just going to be a good way to keep them alive. Moving down to our curses. We still use 2 curses, Blasphemy with Enfeeble, and this is the green aura around us. I swear by this curse. I know there's some people that don't like it, but the fact that when you get surrounded, the fact that when you have enemies around you, they are going to do less damage. It is just like a constant DR, and it is so, so nice for pushing T17, 18 maps. So on here, we have more area of effect. We have more area of effect. And we have triggers Wind Wave when stunned while use supported skills. So if enemies do get through all that and hit you and you are stunned, they get pushed back. Nice quality of life. We are using our second curse, which is Hypothermia, and this is something that we manually cast. And on here, we have taken increased effective supported curses with Heightened Curse. We've taken Spell Cascade, and we have taken Hex Bloom. So a lot goes into Hypothermia. And last but not least, another newcomer, this is Frost Bomb. And we tested so many different skills trying to figure out what could support this build. And on here, I have taken supported skills have a 100% chance to blind enemies. So Frost Bomb is going to blind enemies. We have taken Cold Exposure, and we have taken Exposure applied by supported skills has increased effect. Now, the only reason why we are using Frost Bomb has nothing to do with the damage from Frost Bomb, but more importantly, it applies Cold Exposure. So Cold Exposure is going to get hit, and then the supported skill is going to last for 8 seconds, and then it's going to have increased exposure. So it is sometimes hard to time Hypothermia with Frost Bomb, with all the offerings, but really these 2 are for rare enemies and bosses, and it's really easy to hit. Those are the skills. So now let's break down the passive tree. At time of recording, I am level 90, and we will start with the Ascendancy. We are an Infernalist Witch, and the first 2 points you want to take are right here and summon your loyal Hellhound. It's a great minion, it's going to ignite everybody, and it doesn't cost any spirit. You're then going to come down here and get Altered Flesh. As you are leveling the build, if you had to pick one resistance to make sure is maxed, pick Fire, because Cold and Lightning will be taken 20% as Fire. You then want to come down here and get Will, which is going to reserve 25% of your life, but it's going to give you a big boost to your maximum spirit, which of course is going to give you a larger army. Now for your last 2 points on your Ascendancy, you kind of have a couple options. Some people just take max mana and increase life. Some people just take the 2 increase life. Some people come down here will take Gaze, which is going to give you, depending on your life, upwards of 400 extra mana. That is up to you. I don't even spec the points right now. It's not my favorite mechanic in the game. Now, when it comes to the passive tree, let me see if I could angle this where you can kind of get a screenshot. That looks pretty good. You could see everything there. If you wanted to snap this screenshot, we go as far as to the right here and as far as the left as this jewel there. Okay. Now, when you are looking at this passive tree, we're going to start right here and take these minion nodes and work up this direction and grab some mana regen. You're then going to come down here and get revive faster and more maximum mana. You want your minions when they die to pop right back up. You're then going to come to the right and snag this cluster here. Again, you're going to be boosting your minion revive. When they die, they pop back up and you'll get some movement speed and attack speed, which is really, really nice. You are then going to cut left and snag this node right here. You guessed it, Relentless Dead, minions revive faster. And then come up here and get this node, Lord of Horrors. Minions have 12% reduced reservation. Okay. Now, once you have that, it really depends on where you are in the game. Now, this is a mind over matter build, which means all damage is taken from mana before life, 50% less mana recovery. If you come over to the right here, we are also using Eldritch Battery, which converts all of my energy shield into mana. That is why we have almost 3,700 mana with the build. We are also using Whispers of Doom, which allows us to have a double curse. And everything else on here is just going to support your minions and crit chance and try and keep them alive and more max health, more resistance, more damage. Now, there is a newcomer to this tree, okay? And the newcomer is right here. Lust of Sacrifice. 40% increased minion damage when you have at least 2 different active offerings. Now, this is something that I have brought to Frost Mages that I haven't brought to any other build, but ultimately here, we are using Pain Offering and Bone Offering. So when you have both of those up, you're going to be doing more damage. Your minions are going to be staying alive. Yes, you have to sacrifice 2 minions, but they're also going to be getting a 40% boost to their overall damage. So again, we continue to refine the passive tree. Every build, I tweak it or change it a little bit. If you're a higher level than me, the next 2 points, 100% will go here. Minion damage and touch for increased 40% chance for crit. That's where my next 2 points are going, but that's the updated passive tree. So now let's talk gear. For this build, there is nothing required. You don't got to go get a certain armor, a certain glove, a certain ring. Every single item I am using is a rare item. That being said, there is a belt that is very cheap and very good. I used it probably all the way till upwards of level 86, 87. And that is right here, the Midnight Braid Rawhide belt. And this gives maximum mana, all resists, but more important, 50% of damage taken is recouped as mana. Now, this happens over 8 seconds, but it is a great survivability stat, okay? Now, I'm going to show you each item. This is my Scepter, 209 to Spirit, plus 3 to minion skills with regen. Helmet, Energy Shield, max life, max mana, level 2 minion skills and resistances. Focus, you could use a focus or a shield. I've decided to really go in on mana. So on here, double energy shield, max mana, int resist, mana regen. Armor, energy shield, max life, spirit, mana regen, double resistance. Gloves, energy shield, max life, max mana, dex, cold res. Belt, max life, max mana, +1 to charm. Boots, movement speed, max life, max mana, triple resistance. Amulet, max life, max mana, 50 to spirit. Rarity, resist. And on this amulet, I also have 20% of damage taken recouped as mana. Ring, max life, max mana, all res with mana regen. Ring, max life, max mana, int fire, mana regen. Now, I just want to point out one thing. On this amulet, I have 20% damage taken recouped as mana. On the passive tree, there is also this node, 20% of damage taken recouped as mana. That gets us to 40%. And then on my amulet, I have thrown this on it, which is increased mana regen and 6% of damage taken recouped as mana. Which means for my build, I am currently sitting at 46% damage taken recouped as mana. So if I use this belt, which I was at one point, we were up to 96% of damage recouped as mana. But I decided to get a more endgame belt that also offered an additional charm. We have grants immunity to freeze and cannot be stunned, which are great charms for endgame. And with that gear, if you're looking at our current breakdown, 2,572 life, 3,639 mana. And remember, mana is taken before life. So if you combine those, we are over 6,000, 6,200 life, really. Spirit, 487. And it took me a long time. Fire's at 85, Lightning's at 84, Cold's at 89, and Chaos is at 75. Which means we have maxed all of our resistances. And our total mana recovery, we are up to 438 per second, which goes up to 468 when we have our offerings up. So a lot of mana regen to keep this full so that we don't die. That is the gear. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my brand new Frost Mage Witch for Path of Exile 2? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I have earned it. Check out the Patreon. It is the best way to support. I just posted the new studio tour for Patreons. And check out the Discord, approaching 4,500 members. We do a game giveaway or merch giveaway every 2 weeks. The current giveaway is a free copy of Last Epoch, just for being a member of the community. I'm done. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.